Welcome to Tech Talk Live. It is Tuesday, May 13th, 6 p.m. here in Los Angeles. I'm Jack Armstrong.
And 9 p.m. in the DMV. I'm Sam Giacinto, and welcome to the show. Lots to talk about this week. Before we get started, Tech Talk Live loves Before Sunset AI. Before Sunset AI is your AI productivity superhero. Code Tech Talk Live for 3 months free to conquer your conquests with Before Sunset AI. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. What a productive use of AI to manage your to-do list. Check it out, beforesunset.ai. Welcome to the show. Lots of exciting news today. We've got I guess we should start what do you say with some AI and another use case. Another day, another use case, but this time with therapy. And there's more. There's a catch, of course.
Well, we have to talk about this because I know we talked previously, perhaps touched on how our friend Mark Zuckerberg wants to create a social media app with solely AI entities for you to chat with. But people are taking this perhaps a bit farther in their personal lives with the use of AI as essentially life's companion in their personal struggles, um in sort of having a confidant to talk through your problems with. You know the jury's out on whether these AI systems make for good therapists, but at least anecdotally a lot of people are using AI to navigate personal situations,
Absolutely.
which
Well, it
is
can give good advice sometimes. I mean, it seems to be all encompassing, and it seems to be not subjective. It's technology just giving you tips based on general knowledge. But of course, it gets a little deeper also with your data. We always talk about data privacy, and of course, there's more in that realm.
well, and yeah, kind of building off that, it's kind of insane. Well, maybe a different term could be used, but how much trust is sort of placed in the kind of AI space where you have chatbots and other, I mean, essentially untested technologies, um, where people are sharing these secrets, with essentially their, AI human doubles, right? I mean, it's, sort of, these are just as susceptible to surveillance and sort of observation, um, you know, just like any other online platform. But people, given their usefulness, people are perhaps sharing a little bit more than is, you know, than is
Then they
typical,
yeah.
let's just say. Because if you can get personal advice from, like personal advice that, as you said, that is useful, you're perhaps more likely to share, you know, some deep dark secrets, right? With this chatbot. I don't think it's crazy to say, it's like, well, if it's very useful, you're more likely to, you know, provide it with problems that you would like to have solved. So kind
Well,
of the
also it's
power
worth
of the AI adds to
yeah.
what you'll give it in a way.
Well, also, I think one of the things too is it's worth noting how easy it is to do like AI summaries. So if you're chatting or talking with your AI, and then on the back end, that data is all saved to build a profile on you and build all your memories and stuff like that. It all of that can be retrieved if it got out. It can also be summarized and summary is not even a good way to say this. Like it could be analyzed, I guess would be maybe an even better way to describe it. It with another model and other prompts for whatever. And again, I think it just goes we're painting, with these chat agents, with these, AI large language models. We're trusting them probably a little bit before we should be more skeptical, I think, of the future implications of our data being tied to our identities. Not that we're saving, not that we're hiding anything, but do you really want OpenAI to know that you just went through a breakup and then you are now in a throuple and then do you want to give it all these details and then your best friend committed suicide and you are now thinking about that same thing? Or, do you really need to give it all these details you know, to a technology that will always remember it and will always know how you think, and then it can psychoanalyze you? So again, like the internet is obviously and has been a surveillance nightmare for a long time. This is just stupidly easy now to yeah, again, the tech companies are right at the edge, ready to pounce on that data. And so it just blows me away that, yeah, like, of course, OpenAI doesn't want state AI regulation. Of course, we don't, I think we got to be careful with how our privacy is incorporated in AI, because also, as you know, AI and understanding you, it can be more relevant the more it understands about you. But that's also a fine line because you don't want to over disclose information, right? So it's a hard balance.
Well, and that's the tough part, right? Is and there is no, there's no um there's no guidebook really on how to protect your privacy. We're aware of it for things that have existed for a while, because we've experienced, what happens when, your privacy is breached, right? But with these new tools, it's kind of it's the frontier, of, you know, when you're on the bleeding edge of technology, you're kind of in the unexplored frontier of privacy. Um, and given that, going back to the user agreements that you sign technically when you are using these platforms, it's,
Mhm.
don't think about it too much because it's scary. It really is something where it's like, you know, realistically, like, don't get therapy from a chatbot, especially from a high profile platform and, at least in the US.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes full circle to, we've talked about this many times where, at least in the United States, we don't really have a robust privacy slash data framework of you having custody over your information. You don't own what um, you don't own what you create in terms of your prompts or your responses. Um, it's essentially just, it's the Wild West. And, obviously there's going to be a ton of resistance, to these new use cases simply because when something is used for healthcare, there's a whole, essentially HIPAA, a framework for compliance standards, and it gets much more difficult to provide a genuine healthcare service as opposed to just a fun little chatbot. that answers your problems. So the platforms themselves are not going to want to be subject to this, and will likely successfully push back on any sort of further regulation. But coming full circle, that's buyer beware. um it's so your data is not yours, so perhaps consider protecting it. And if and honestly, like, if worst case scenario, and this is not condoning anything, but if you are going to use these platforms for this purpose, perhaps try a local model. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
worst, kind of the worst of it's not it's the best of the worst, I guess. If you are seeking
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. AI and therapy. Hey, welcome to the show. We have a guest with us today.
Hello.
Hi, Jake. We're talking AI and therapy.
hello.
So obviously, quite a interesting topic, because our data. I'm sure you're familiar. Have you ever used ChatGPT to
I have used it,
ask for advice?
not so much for advice, mainly just kind of resolving issues or questions, but not so much with advice.
I have to be honest, I have asked it for help just navigating, like, if, like, how do I respond to this email? Just because it's like, if I don't have the mental effort to, like, engage with somebody who's just really grinding my gears, I will copy and paste their email into it and be like, how can I respond in an empathetic, like, professional manner?
Yes.
I mean,
Just
people use it for dating advice all the time too. I know.
What's that Riz app?
What's it called?
Riz app. I don't know if it's a real thing, but I keep seeing it on TikTok, and it's called
No,
Riz
I
app.
actually, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it like tries to craft your response to, like, dating app like messages to, like, depend on their profile, and, like, it tries to make you seem really suave. And I always wonder, like, will they be able to tell when you actually meet up? You're like, this guy is nowhere near like
Nowhere near as smart to write that.
well, I mean, you got to
I mean-
riz in person at some point, right? I don't know.
You can't always hide behind a screen and let AI help you out all the time.
Well, we're getting addicted to it. I mean, I know people that use it all the time for, advice, whether it's therapy, whether it's, I mean, it's a lot cheaper than paying a therapist. So then we have to worry about our data. Is that a concern for you, Jacob?
Yes and no. Of course, there'll always be data collected across any platform, whether it's especially Google Assistants, because they're always listening. There's like 4 in the house. So, and I also find, like, well, they're targeted, pardon me, the targeted ads as well come up all the time. You'll be talking about going to the Bahamas, and all of a sudden you get like booking.com coming up. Hey, it's like there's trips in Bahamas. And I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. But of course, everything's always downloading, listening in, the phones, the laptops, everything's listening. But as a data concern, they're probably profiling people and building a profile of what you think or what you say or how you react to things and the questions that you ask. So it'd be interesting. But to me, not particularly, because I don't have anything to hide or anything that I'm worried about. But for other people, it might be different.
So would you trust using ChatGPT to instead of Google, like, to try to find the information that you're looking for? Like, if you're searching for whether it's a flight or I don't want to keep saying advice. I know we're talking about therapy primarily with the news today, but would you trust AI search more than Google or regular search, traditional search engines?
Well, I find that Google only searches from what it has available, where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, ChatGPT takes it off a lot more broader platforms as well. Oh, I just lost. What's going on here? where ChatGPT will take it off a broader selection of information. So if it was, say, flights, it would check every single flight company. It would check every platform that it has available. But I would say it would be giving me more options and more variety of options in terms of the internet.
Well, also, I think speed, Sam, right? We talk about that a lot, like getting to your answer or getting to your desired outcome faster, because it is doing that for you. It's going to all the websites that you want it to go to search.
But, is it accurate? Maybe most of the time, right? So you do have to temper it where it's like, yeah, if you're making a vacation itinerary, it could be fine. But if you're relying on it for any sort of critical advice, or you're going to, it can make things up. So keeping that in mind of like, maybe it makes up a restaurant that doesn't exist. But if you're seeking advice for visiting a new country you've never been to before, maybe just double check, before you're, led astray. Or like, if it's important, I would double check it. I don't know if I'm at the point, because even if it is like 99% there, it's going to be that 1% where you really need to trust in it, that it's going to, it's like self-driving. It's like, it can work 99.9% of the time, but you only have to.
They fail. There's issues and problems.
Yeah, you'll have to screw up one time, and then you have a big problem.
But
I think the newer models are better, though. I think the newer, like ChatGPT 03 Mini I don't think they're hallucinating as much, but yeah, you're right. Like before creating an itinerary and like just doing it without double checking, you don't want to. Yeah, it needs to be accurate. I can imagine a day where you ask your AI in the future to plan you restaurant reservations every night, and imagine, I guess it wouldn't be possible because they would have to get some sort of confirmation, but imagine if the restaurants like didn't exist, or like it like made you fake reservations or something.
Well, that when you use your Riz app to make up a hobby you don't have, and then ChatGPT for a restaurant that doesn't exist, you could be in trouble. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
also,
the kicker is that the girl could be a bot, or the girl or guy could be a bot too, and then it's just sort of like it's all for naught,
I don't know if she's listening to the show right now, but Jenna, I've invited to come on. She'll have to come on and talk about this because she has a lot of experience with bots on Reddit becoming a problem, and also with how do you our personas online. We have some right to privacy, right? But also like if you're going to meet up with somebody, you're like on a dating app or something, how do you verify that they're like real? Like obviously you should probably FaceTime them, or you should probably, Snapchat is good in that sense, right? Because you can kind of tell that they're a real person. But I think that you really have to, we live in a world now where there's so much out there that could be fake or AI generated that like we don't know what is actually real until you see it in front of you. Yeah. Well, Sam, we have another interesting topic. Do you want to?
We do. We have to talk about
number two.
Google's Find My. So obviously you've heard of an AirTag. Everyone has. Yep. It's the Apple. Gosh, it came out almost 4 years ago now, and I have one on my cat. I have one on my remote. It's just like, it's easy, it's cheap, and it's really kind of revolutionized the tracking genre. For a moment there, people were putting them in people's cars to, track them down to steal them. There was all sorts of like AirTags in the news and AirTag coverage. But Google's Find My is going to become much more powerful for our Android friends at some point. Later this year, they're going to add ultra wideband. So what does that mean? You can directionally locate your items. So no more, it's 6 feet away. So you have to kind of like look around and wonder where,
Which direction? Yeah.
it should be able to point you to where things are. So if it's, your keys are stuck in the couch cushion, it's no longer going to be
take the whole couch. You have to
yeah.
directly the pinpoint of where something is located. Is this also to counteract, of course, Google and Apple always go at each other? Is this to go against Apple?
Well, I think so. I mean, and obviously, they've been watching, right, as the AirTag has really, it's kind of been a phenomenon in some ways, right? It's like, because people are tracking their bags and, it's like before and after, so many things are going on in the tech world, but, before and after AirTag was kind of a pretty distinct, at least for, before AirTags, it was almost like, I mean, I guess you had tile, like, I didn't even have a tile before AirTag. I don't know if you guys had a tile.
I have seen them previously,
but never used.
Apparently they work quite well, from what I've heard. My ex-housemate used
tile.
Tile, yeah.
Yeah. They definitely weren't ultra wideband. If you are you familiar when we say ultra wideband, what that means?
I'm gonna say
like the directional.
Directional, as in where you can find it within, like, how to put it into words. Location being able to be pinpointed rather than just in a generalized location.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, direction and like exact. It's better than just sending a ping out into the ether. It's able to. You can kind of point your phone in a certain direction and like guide yourself to the item. Exactly.
Well, so this is why Tile no longer really exists now. I mean, I think they were acquired by Life 360, but when the AirTag came out, so many people already have iPhones that you wouldn't buy a Tile because it just wasn't as capable, because the AirTag was able to tell you, turn around, it's behind you, where the Tile would just play a sound and then you had to go find it yourself without any sort of like arrow pointing you in which way to go. So I think the AirTag definitely wins, but now I think it's called what, Sam? The Moto Tag. So Motorola is now going to be making these for Google.
Yeah, and this was kind of a, it's called a Moto Tag. It looks exactly like an AirTag. I mean, you don't need a ton of imagination to kind of figure this out. But this was released in June of last year. And now, it was released and they said it supports this. And then there was no software, nothing. So here we are a year later, and Google is finally saying, hey, we are going to support this technology. So, I mean, they had the tag, at least from Motorola for a while. But just now, Google is going to integrate that so you can actually use it.
Do you see this?
It's kind of a big deal because the Android, I mean, so when I say it looks like an AirTag, I mean, it doesn't leave a huge
difference between the two.
I mean,
both circular.
It's a circular puck. Just like an AirTag. It's almost the exact, it's the same form factor. Yeah.
Which is pretty funny because, I mean, like, at this point, we've kind of seen the back and forth between the Android and iPhone camp and the Apple and Google and Samsung camp. But it's a little similar. I mean, even down to the name tag. In fact, I don't really know, like, because when you think about it, AirTag, I don't even know. Like,
it looks like Google's also rebranding to Find Hub, no longer Find My. They're trying to be a little different than Apple, right? The Find Hub, so you can find all your devices. right? Like they have to be
yeah.
different in some.
I don't know about the branding on that side of it, but yeah, I mean the Find Hub, whatever,
Well, yeah, The Verge. This is in The Verge today. So yeah, Google adds ultra wideband support, to its rebranded Find Hub tracker app. So this is going to be coming out. I wonder if it's launching worldwide. That would be fascinating to see. I know sometimes certain countries get things faster, but I think more competition and
down here in terms of any ads or targeted ads at all. So it might be just a US thing. Or
is Motorola, do they have a presence in Australia?
They used to back in like 2005, 2006. Motorola was pretty big. Don't see them a lot anymore. They didn't do a lot of phones. They did a lot of like communication systems, like pardon me. So if you were like in, say, nightclubs, you'd have the headset and you'd have like a Motorola connection thing, almost like very similar to like a walkie-talkie situation, but not so much the phones. I've seen like one or two, and that's basically it.
Wait, I don't know if was the Motorola Razr a big was that iconic? I don't know. Not to go down nostalgia lane, but a really thin flip phone back in the mid 2000s. I know it was like it was iconic. At least
oh yeah. Everyone had a flip phone.
It was pink, some were pink. I don't know. Paris Hilton had the pink Motorola Razr.
That was so long ago. And then the BlackBerry, I guess that would have been before the BlackBerry, right? The Razr, then the BlackBerry, then we had the iPhone 3G, all within like 3 years, 5 years of each other.
Everyone's trying to compete
Motorola
with each other.
Yeah. They all wanted market share, and then Apple blew everyone out of the water for like a decade. And now Androids, they're all kind of the same now in terms of tech specs.
I do kind of think about that, right? Like the iPhone itself is, well under 20 years old still. And it's like, one generation ago we had, and that was like the peak of innovation at the time. But just how much better every single aspect of that phone has gotten in terms of, the cameras can, you can take a picture of the moon now, basically with some of the Samsung phones, and before it's like you would have 3 pixels of like, so it really isn't the amount of innovation of just the personal communication device in the last, it really has been exponential. Maybe we should do like a history of the phones episode. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's caught up really quickly. I think I'm most excited for, I know this was in the news a little today. I don't think we want to talk too much about it because it's not that thing, but the Starlink terminals they now partner with T-Mobile. So you can now get a more expensive phone plan with one of the nation's largest carriers here. And I think it just foreshadows what's coming. Like we're now already seeing satellite capabilities for sending and receiving messages already. Like this is crazy. Like before we know it, we'll have.
Sorry, was that direct to Starlink?
I think it's direct. There will be a terminal. Yeah, I think it's direct to from your phone. I think you have to have an iPhone 15 or higher, I think, or one of the Google. It has to have the support for it, but I don't know. I think this is going out of Apple's SOS feature to like Starlink, but it's crazy. I mean, I know you like Starlink. What are your thoughts on Starlink as a service?
As a service as a whole, it is very good. Speeds vary between 100 to 300, which is above average. Where I am is not fairly rural, but we still get a lot of traffic here and there. The only downside I actually don't like about it is when you have a download speed, it does fluctuate quite frequently. There's no stable ground. I don't know if it's the device that I'm using or if it's the just the traffic, but it doesn't sit at a download speed, say 150, and just stays there. That's the only issue that I have with it. So if you're downloading a game or something like that, it'll constantly fluctuate in terms of its speed.
Interesting.
But reliability, it has not missed a beat since the day that I got it.
That's good. No, I mean, it sounds like a reliable option for, I mean, I think it's from, I think it's a great option. I feel like when you have a ground-based alternative in cities, you don't really, like, I don't come from a place that even Starlink would be a good option here. So I think it makes sense to probably keep that. So I don't know. Because Sam and I were talking before the show, we were talking about this does not really appeal to people living in cities. And if you spend most of your time in cities, like in terms of the phone service, if they're going to if they're going to charge extra for a phone service that you're out of camping once a week, like, it just doesn't make sense. But I think if you live there like you do and you want like a home internet connection that's much better than anything else that comes to you, I guess you're willing to put up with a small bit of fluctuating speeds based on like the satellite services at the time. And that's really the only downside you can.
Yeah, exactly. The issue that I have with it is only that segment of it, like the speeds are non-consistent, which isn't an issue or a problem. It just takes quite a few hours to download, say, a 50 gig like item that you're downloading. There's no dropouts. It doesn't like go, oh, we've got no connection, and just cuts out all like in general. I'm trying to think where it is. I can't see it, but it's never had an issue except for when I bought it because it decided to do an update and then shut down and it didn't work. And that was the only problem. And then took 2 days to get a response back from Starlink. Their support was very helpful, but their response time wasn't there. And I'm going, I spend $500 to get a system. Now I can't use it. But ever since then, I have had absolutely no issues. And even when Telstra has been down in the area, I'm like, I'm just going to go home because I have a satellite-based connection, which is crazy. And for gaming, streaming, no buffering.
Have you noticed latency problems when the weather like is really cloudy or anything? Like, what about when it's cloudy? Have you had any
The only
issues?
time we've had latency issues is during an electrical storm. And in Australia, we have electrical storms nearly, like this season is our wet season, and it's nearly every afternoon.
I have a radar app, and you can see like global warnings and stuff. So it's like severe thunderstorm warning. I'm like, holy crap! Like these guys are getting like
we get hammered.
Crazy,
90% of the time. But that's just Australia. I don't have many latency issues. You can tell when it's like raining, you'll pull 130, and then it's not raining, and you're putting 26. So most of the time, it's okay. But only during electrical storms, you will have some interferences occasionally, but 80% of the time, you have no problem whatsoever.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
I wonder when they add more customers, like people in where you are probably would be signing up for this. Like, I wonder if, like.
Funny you should mention that because I actually did some research recently, and there's currently a wait list at the moment. So he has stopped people from signing up in my region. So currently in my area, if I go to order now, just on the the website, it'll. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. It's gonna say. Oh no, he must have released it now because it said earlier that we weren't able to actually download anything or order anything. There was a waitlist. I know there's a waitlist here and in Western Australia because it's very popular.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like they would need to protect. It's interesting. I don't have satellite-based internet, but I do have millimeter wave-based internet from a company called Starry. They're great, and I helped them actually get in this building that I live in, and the connection's been great. The customer support has been great. However, a few days ago, the internet was out for 2 hours, and that never, ever almost happens. And it's crazy because I know that the service is getting more popular in the area. But first of all, it was, I think, citywide or like all of California. So I think they were having a major issue. But it is something that I think is important when these companies scale, whether it's, I know, Starlink and Tesla, when they scale too quickly and then don't have enough service centers to support all the cars they sold, or, they sell too many satellite terminals. They didn't launch enough satellites. And now it's like everyone's internet just slows down. It's like, I wonder how, because there is only limited bandwidth. So it is fascinating because, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just endlessly have unlimited connection for every single human. There are limitations.
Yes, and I think he did stop it a couple of months ago with not allowing new users for that very reason. And he must have added new satellites into orbit, because I'm just checking, like, of course, just online. It used to say in my area, coming waitlist, and now all of Australia is now available again. So I'm guessing there is new satellites in the area.
That's good. Yeah, it's nice to have the option. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
Well, and it's funny too, Jacob. You mentioned Telstra, and I guess they also have a partnership with Star. I was googling it. I guess they. I don't know why partnering with Starlink seems to be the thing that all
It's honestly a waste of time.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not often, like, maybe I need to go outside more, but it's just like, oh man, I wish I had satellite on my phone, because it's like,
well, I see the principle of it's great. For me, in my region, I'm currently sitting inside my house, Colorbond steel roof, and I have 1 bar of reception from my telco.
Oh yeah, no, that metal roof will really block. Well, it's good to block in radio frequency.
But with the Starlink system, it runs through Telstra Wi-Fi calls, so I can make a phone call through the satellite.
Oh, I see.
And make a phone call that way. So we have one benefit of it.
So do you think it would be more popular when Starlink is capable, your phone is capable of Starlink? Like, for example, living in a big city, I would almost never have a use for it because there's always service. No. But where you are, do you think that is something that appeals to people, that they're like, yes, I would pay $10 like more a month to get that access?
I think in regional Australia, in suburban areas where I'm based, I'm classed as semi-rural. There's still a lot of large acre blocks. For someone that's in Alice Springs, which is in the middle of absolute nowhere, those areas, of course, there still would be cell reception, but people like on ranches and large scale farms, I would say they would be the ones to benefit from that service greater than what someone in the CBD of Brisbane, Melbourne, or Sydney. Just having that access, and the fact that it is an emergency system as well. It's basically just a cell phone, like there's a proper name for it, but I can't remember the name for it right now.
Pager?
It's like not so much a pager. the sat phone. That's what they're called.
Oh yeah.
So they you use them in dire circumstances. It's basically having one of them in your pocket with everything else on your phone. I think it would be a benefit for them, is in terms of I've fallen off the tractor, I've hurt myself quite bad, I need help, that kind of scenario. And also benefiting with the text and message service and calls as well, to be able to still be connected within Australia.
And I'm assuming those people are paying for that satellite service already, right? So this would be like an upgrade in their pocket, in their primary smartphone. Maybe it would be cheaper. Like I could maybe imagine Starlink might be cheaper. Would it be cheaper, do you think, than like a traditional satellite?
Satellite phones, yeah, they're quite expensive to have. I don't know the full pricing structure of them because I have never had to use them. But to make a call on a sat phone is quite expensive.
Yeah.
So that's why they say only use it if you're up shit creek and you need help. So
yeah. I will say that is a very niche but important, if you're out backpacking or something, you do need to have a satellite phone in case, worst case scenario, you need a helicopter to come rescue you, so it is useful in that way. I mean, usually, I guess before we would, and it's funny because the guys I know who do it quite frequently still don't trust the iPhones. It's like, oh, well, technically, it could work, but we're still going to carry the Garmin because it's like, like
reliability.
I don't know if they feel, it's like, well, the iPhone could do it, but maybe not. I don't know. That's just something I've seen personally is, they'll still carry the, the Garmin satellite phone, even if it's like, technically, right, the iPhone could, SOS satellite mode and whatnot. Right?
Well, it's a more complicated process, right? For someone that's, I would imagine, been using Garmin for a long time. They now have to point with their compass and, oh, the satellite's coming here, point your phone this way. Because if you do the demos, it really makes you like angle it perfectly, right? Or you've seen what I'm talking, what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you got to angle it and all this other stuff. I mean, I feel like they rather just have something that's more durable, just works. And I mean, because it's a classic example of something being the jack of all trades but a master of none, and the Garmin satellite phone is a master of working and connecting the satellites in the wilderness. It's completely waterproof, drop proof, shock proof, crush proof. I mean, it's sort of like, and when your life depends on it, you would carry an extra 3 ounces to like, be able to survive. I don't know. I mean, and I get it. So I'm just curious, because that would be my main use case of like, but again, like, your iPhone is a fragile device at the end of the day. Like, you drop it down on some rocks, the screen shatters, then how do you know to point it at, the satellite when you can't see your compass, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I mean, I know it's all what if, but
that's true. Well, so our final and Jacob, our final story / tech news of the day today for this episode is Airbnb's redesign. They're having a midlife crisis. Did you see this?
Well, that was the title of the article, but I don't know if you've seen at least that or maybe another article about it, Jacob.
Do you want to pull it up? Sam, pull it up so we can show our listeners.
Yeah, let me go to
on YouTube the vision. So
hopefully I get a
Jacob, have you used Airbnb recently?
Not recently, no. I don't actually think I've ever used. I probably had a look, but
have you ever? So you've never used Airbnb?
No, I haven't.
Oh wow.
More of a booking.com kind of person, but yeah.
trying to find the
Interesting.
screenshot of what it will offer. But in short,
Yeah.
I really should have uBlock on here. But in short,
Oh yeah.
you will be able to plan an itinerary. And this includes not only a place to stay, but you'll have experiences and services as well as a place
Ah,
to. So not only can you book a home, you can book a whole. I'm trying to find the Apple News article had way better graphics, and it's really kind of
the
annoying me.
website does show a lot of it. I'm just on the website of Airbnb, so you can see home experiences and services with a new icon.
Oh wow, look at this. They're vetted for quality. Okay, explore experiences. So it's very much like, you're planning your whole itinerary inside the app. So no longer are you booking an Airbnb. You're booking an Airbnb and it's like, oh, okay, like I can, oh wow, nighttime guide at, the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Or like, I don't know. So it's like you're able to kind of plan out your whole day, it seems like. And I don't even know about services. Yeah, I guess maybe you can hire a chef. I don't know.
Is it just me, like, or does it not appeal to you? Like, this does not appeal to me at all. Like, being able to book a trainer or a makeup artist. I mean, I guess like,
Yeah,
like
I guess maybe we're not the target audience. Perhaps
this is.
blowout and hot tool
I mean,
style.
I'm just trying to imagine what, like, you're throwing a party and you want what to have
Well, I
what,
guess
like
yeah,
book your
maybe
DJ on Airbnb, like what, like. I'm just trying to imagine, like, so it's a booking platform for not only live experiences, but live experts.
well, let's see. So we got nails coming soon, hair, spa treatments, personal training. So I guess for now it's a very limited subsection of mainly photography and chef,
And
and I guess training as well. There's a lot of trainers on here. I guess you could
personal
do
training
some beach yoga.
is a big.
I don't know. Okay, so like, let's say I want to go to Miami. Maybe I want to, for some reason, I'd like to go to Miami. So now I guess I can like search for, I guess experiences, homes, services, all in one spot. I don't know if this is like. I mean, honestly, I know they've had this kind of before where you could book experiences. I think the redesign is like a little underwhelming. I don't know. Because I feel like
underwhelming.
I don't know, like maybe like okay, because like I feel like
This is overwhelming to me. I think there's too much now going on. Jacob, what do you think? Is this good or is this, do you think what people want, or is this too much?
the concept is great. The fact that they've got, of course, there's concerts that are on, there's what's happening on like tomorrow, experiences. This is all under the experiences category. There's weekend experiences, popular in the area. It's a great concept, but whether or not people will actually use it to its full capability, only because some people might go, oh no, I want to do this, or I've already got stuff planned. For people who are traveling to the country, so for this area, I've got Sydney. If someone's new to the area and goes, I don't know what I'm doing, there's a couple of options there for people, but at the same time, why would you go to a country and not know kind of what you're doing, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
well,
For sure.
like why would you use Airbnb to like, and it does seem kind of limited. I mean, like I guess I don't know, like in Sydney there's only photography and chefs. So because everything else is kind of but then also it's like, I don't, and like I hate, like, I guess I've never had a spa treatment booked on Airbnb. I don't know. Like, maybe I don't know. I mean, like,
Well, I mean,
it's
Airbnb has always
I don't know.
been
I don't mean to be
Airbnb
skeptical.
has always been a place to look for unique places to stay. Like it doesn't appeal to everyone. I know my mom personally likes it, but she likes staying in like cool like apartments and condos versus like a hotel. So like I think some people do like that kind of very unique, very like you can only find this on Airbnb sort of experience or sort of place to stay. But I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, Jacob. Like if you're going to the city, like aren't you already like going to visit someone you know, or don't you already know what you're doing? Like, I mean, I guess if you really needed ideas, then the new Airbnb platform might be good for you to look at what you might want to do. But I just to me, it sounds overwhelming. You can book right next to your private chef. You can book your surfing lesson, and then you can book your art class all in one platform. I mean, it's cool, but like, it's a lot going on there on the new Airbnb. I don't know.
Yeah. As it builds, I'm sure it'll become more useful for people who are like, let's go on a holiday where, I don't know, pick somewhere and they go, what can we do? It'll give you all the options to do everything during that time. But for me, I'd kind of to explore on my own terms. So it could be good for other people, but not so much not catering to myself.
Well, I guess maybe what I was thinking is like once you select your dates and the spot, it's like, oh, do you want to add your experiences now? Whereas this is sort of like it was still the typical checkout, like, all right, you're staying here from here to here. Like, you know, did you forget to book your chef? It's like, oh my God, I did. You know, thank you. You know, it's like, you know, but I guess it was still very traditional, at least from the brief, you know, trying to book a Miami, I don't know, a Miami place, but I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see with all things tech, right? Usually launch the alpha and then people test it for you. Right.
Why don't they do this like, invite only in the beginning, like because I think they have a quality. I mean, I think Airbnb has always had like a quality problem because like Jacob, I don't know. I mean, you don't have to say if you don't want to say why you're not a fan, but like I think when you stay in a hotel or you stay in a booking.com or some VRBO, I think there's a sense to a lot of people of consistency. You know what you're going to get, you know what you're paying for. But sometimes with Airbnb, it's like, I don't want to read 100 reviews to make sure that everything was good with this, that the people like this place. And then it's like, imagine if you book someone, I mean, and then it's not what you're expecting. So I think it's hard because with Airbnb, you have to be okay with not knowing what to expect, maybe.
I'd say so, yes. Airbnb is very much, this is my place I'm listing on the internet, not like I'm going to a hotel, so I know exactly how it's going to be. I know exactly what's going to be there. Because I've just done a quick little see how it'll go. The platform doesn't even option or ask you, did you want to also organize this? Because if I go to a room and go reserve, it takes me straight to the booking request site. There is no, did you want to also try looking at this? There's nothing about it at all. So,
exactly.
It definitely seems like an early release. This Airbnb, this new Airbnb.
Well, they have a cute icon at the top, I guess. Yeah,
it's cute.
Looks cool.
No, I think Airbnb definitely it has a time and place depending on what you're looking for. I mean, I think it's good for ideas, and if you're that very, I mean, they do speak more to the adventurous person that doesn't know what to do and wants to do something random that they've never heard of. And yeah, I mean, it's cool that you can book, like whether you're listing your place to make extra money or let's say you're a talented yoga instructor, or you want to give a sound bath to someone, or a personal massage, or be a personal chef. Like, I mean, I guess that does appeal to someone. Like, it does. Like, and I guess, I don't know, maybe yeah, next time I travel somewhere, I'll try to think a little more creatively, because this Airbnb speaks to me like you have to be a creative explorer to really want these unique experiences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I think Airbnb, I think of cute cottage getaway, not staying in an apartment in a major city. When I thought Airbnb, I was expecting it to be more a homestay. So someone's actual like 5-bedroom home, opposed to an apartment complex or an apartment in somewhere in the city. Because I'm just on their main page now, and there's cute glass house cottage, cabin in the woods.
They put the good stuff right in front, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I think it should have been. It should have been main focus was homestays in acreage blocks or cute little cabins somewhere, not so much the high-rise apartments, because I can go direct to the apartment complex or book it through that particular website for that hotel, because there's a lot of them that are hotels on Surfers Paradise, apartments, but a lot of these places are just very
I think
bland.
Yeah, bland. Well, there's such a variety. I mean, you can stay in one room of someone's condo or house, but you can also stay, in someone's cute Airstream on their farm. Like, that sounds cool. Or that you can stay in their house, or you can stay in someone's room of an apartment, not even your own room. You can stay in a shared place. So it's like there's such a variety, and I mean, I guess it's nice that it speaks to any type of person, every type of person, but yeah, there's a lot to look at and unpackage. So to find the perfect stay, and to me, I get overwhelmed very easily if I'm looking for a place. It's like, whoa, I just saw too many options. You know, maybe I'll just stay in a hotel instead.
Yeah. Oversaturation.
It's just too many options to pick, but we'll have to see how it goes when this becomes more, see if it becomes more mainstream. Anyway. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Jacob. We appreciate your insights and AI, everything from AI and Starlink to the new Airbnb updates. This is the exciting news we saw for this Tuesday. I guess now it's Wednesday for you, but
Wednesday for me. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday.
In the future, you're in the future. We're stuck on Tuesday still. 7:00 for me, and it's 10:00 for Sam. So, anyway.
Oh yes, it's 12:02 on a Wednesday.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Well,
thanks.
We're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern,
and 11 a.m. Australian.
Yes.
Coast side. Sydney time zone.
Sydney time zone. Well, yeah, Sydney time zone.
Nice. Okay.
But yes. Well, thank you for having me. Well, I may see you next week.
Anytime. Yeah, seriously. Well, anyway, well, have a great rest of your day and great night to people in the U.S. And until next week.
Till next week. Have a good evening. Bye.
Peace.